Man, I hate the Jets. Welcome back to another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you. We have an exciting show here in store on our half-hour edition, 12:01 here on the East Coast. Here on Wednesday, October 14th. It's a little weird because we had football last night, something we're not used to, the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. We'll go through that as well as talk about, like I had mentioned here early in the show, and as our title is, the New York Jets, they are continuing to be a disaster. We've called that on the show for months here before the season, during the season, and now we're here, and they're going to play the Dolphins in Miami this weekend. They're going to lose, and Adam Gase is going to be out of there real quick. But as always, I'm joined alongside my co-host, Gavin. Tony, Gavin, I promise you, very close to getting our background changed up. Don't you worry. I'm going to surprise you with it maybe this week or next week, depending on how the next few shows go and seeing what our debating is concerned with so that we can know what we have to do here with the yellow and gold. But purple and gold. But Gavin, first of all, how are you doing today?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I just want to let you know he did this on purpose. All right, he did the purple and gold on purpose, and if it's a LeBron James background, I might lead the set like Kenny the Jet Smith. I'm great. I'm doing well. The Dodgers and Astros are in trouble. I know we're gonna get
big trouble. Surprises all around the league.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm shocked. Major League Baseball wise, I'm shocked. I'm shocked on how bad the Bills looked last night. I'm shocked. Well, I'm not shocked, but the first thing we'll be talking about today, and as it's titled up here, if you guys can see it, Le'veGONE Bell, as in gone, G-O-N-E. He is gone from the New York Jets. 3 years ago, Gavin, the Pittsburgh Steelers were in prime position to be a team to mess with. Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger when he was younger and a little more healthy, and Le'Veon Bell. And again, we're not going to go back and talk about the Steelers drama and what went down to Mike Tomlin. First of all, Mike Tomlin earned his stripes last year, in my opinion, by holding that team together and going 8-8 with them. He honestly should have been coach of the year. Given they didn't make the playoffs, it makes sense that he wasn't coach of the year. But I think he arguably could have been with the way that he made that team rally around, and he made the defense better. And this year it's paying off huge dividends. So take notes on that. But other than that, Le'Veon Bell took a year off, bet on himself, and decided to go and sign a deal that wasn't as big as what he actually wanted when he was in Pittsburgh. Took his chance with the Jets. Jamal Adams said, "Yo, come here, man. It's a great place." And then Bell has a struggle last year with the team. Not a big deal. It's his first year. They're not anything big. And then you have Jamal Adams request a trade and get traded to Seattle before the season. Le'Veon Bell lashing out on him on Twitter saying he said it was such a good organization, blah, blah, blah. And then a few days ago, Le'Veon Bell, who came back from an injury and didn't play as well, apparently liked some pictures on Twitter, and Adam Gase had some comments to say about it. Of course he does, because Adam Gase doesn't know how to shut up. But bottom line, Le'Veon Bell was released yesterday. They're eating a lot of dead cap in New York. Horrible decision for the franchise. They're just a disaster all around. And when I say horrible decision, I mean I don't love the decision to bring him in. There's no clear reason to. At one point, we were getting Bryce Harper trying to recruit him here, and he might come back here now. Who knows? Obviously, not an expensive deal, but people forget how good Le'Veon Bell was. But he hasn't proved. He hasn't looked it since. So I got to ask you, Gavin, what are some of your initial thoughts? I kind of gave a little bit of a history lesson dating back to his days in Pittsburgh.
Well, Zach, first of all, going off to the on your history lesson, well done. That's an A+. All right, your history teacher will be proud.
Thank you.
That Steelers team, I'm going to say it was arguably one of the best offenses. You had Vance McDonald. You had Martavis Bryant.
A young Juju.
A young Juju. All right, that was the best offense, arguably underrated. The only thing I would feel that was holding them back was Big Ben. Big Ben, sometimes he had a great day and he had mediocre days, and then he got hurt. We know the story. Le'Veon Bell says, James Conner is born, Antonio Brown, and you're right. You're right. After the year Antonio Brown had, Mike Tomlin deserves Coach of the Year for the past however long Antonio Brown was there.
Yeah, I mean, they also, remember, they lost that year. They lost to Jacksonville in the playoffs, and they ended up losing to the Patriots. So they were pretty close to getting to the AFC Championship, the one that the Eagles won, by the way. That's what I'm referring to. So that game, they fell short, and Ben Roethlisberger, you're right, didn't look great there, but they had a lot of talent on that team. And there were questions raised, like, is Ben a bad locker room guy? Is Mike Tomlin not good at handling these situations? And finally, is their front office a mess? Well, I mean, looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, we're not going to get into too much, but they're 4-0. They have a lot of young talent on that team. A lot of guys looking up to Ben Roethlisberger. Juju Smith-Schuster, outside of this past week, looks like wide receiver one legit. James Conner actually looked really good after that first week. He did not look great, but since then he's looked really well. And they have great depth at both positions and a top three defense. So any questions or concerns about Pittsburgh's stability, I think, should be put to rest. But getting back to Le'Veon Bell here, I mean, what happened with him? Why did he take such a step off last year and this year?
Well, Zach, I was the first to come out and say, I don't know if you remember this. I said the year he held out, which was a great idea. Obviously, you saw what happened to Dak Prescott. I hate to bring it up, and Dak, I wish you nothing but the best. But for a guy that takes a lot, second to most hits, maybe more hits than a quarterback, I can see why he held out. But where he went was not the best decision to go. Zach, you know me. I said, why don't you go to Indiana? You got a great offensive line. You're going to get some holes. Why don't you come? This is before Miles Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. I said, why don't you come here? Lane Johnson wanted you here. Bryce Harper even tried recruiting you here. No tampering involved, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there was options for him to go. He didn't. He chose the Jets. Why the hell would you want to play for Adam Gase? See, Zach, you get on the Adam Gase banter and destroying Adam Gase, but you don't leave me a chance to do it either. I don't like Adam Gase as much as you. So guess what, Zach? It's my turn to get in.
Your turn. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Guys, right? No matter how did Le'Veon Bell, right? Your two stars, Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell, how did both of them have the same problem with Adam Gase, but yet he's the last one to leave town?
And he's going to leave after this week.
Makes sense to me. If your star players are not happy with the head coach, won't you think, well, I wonder why they're not happy with him? Maybe we should comment. Let's see what's wrong. No, just get rid of him. Jamal Adams, congratulations. You went to arguably the best situation. You're 5-0 now. Le'Veon Bell, I think Le'Veon Bell is going to go to a good spot. Indiana is off the table. I don't feel
well, that actually might be an option because Marlon Mack got hurt. If he goes there cheap, I mean, like,
yeah, I mean, but I think they like Jonathan Taylor. So do I. Jonathan, a stud running back. So I think
he's I used to think more of a just a pure like Derrick Henry style runner, but he's got speed. He got speed. A good complementary piece. In my opinion, going to Jets is the best running back.
I think maybe on ESPN they were talking about Buccaneers being a great spot for Le'Veon Bell, pass catching running back.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
That's not a good idea. We don't know. The Le'Veon
Bell. I mean, now Jacksonville likes the new kid they have, Robinson. I read Miami. I did read Miami, which is a shocker to me because they have a lot of running backs there. They have Jordan Howard, who has not been productive at all, and Matt Breida. I wonder what's going on down there because they're struggling with that with the run game a lot, and Myles Gaskins easily has been blowing them away as far as their RB1.
I think if you're Le'Veon Bell, you guys, it's not about the money because the Jets owe you a lot of money. You ain't got to play for them, so that's a win. All right, you don't got to see Adam Gase's ugly face no more. That's a win, right, Zach? You don't got to be in his presence no more. But Zach, I think Le'Veon Bell has to sit down with himself. Do I want more money, or do I want a ring, or do I want to reinvent myself? Because you want to reinvent yourself. Go back to Pittsburgh. You reinvent yourself. Maybe you get yourself a ring there. You go to Arizona. I know they have Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds, who I'm both high on.
Well, Drake had a good week this past week, but it was not a strong start for him. I got to ask you this question though, Gavin. I'll let you finish that statement as well. But what about the Rams?
I think the Rams like who they have, and Akers and Henderson. The Rams wouldn't be a bad idea. You go there on a short 1-year deal just to finish out, reinvent yourself. But Zach, I think they like what they had there. I mean, Henderson destroyed the Redskins defense, give or take it was the Redskins, but I remember people saying the Redskins had the best defensive line in all of football, which is not true. But, ladies and gentlemen, when it goes to Le'Veon Bell, you have to sit down and think, do you want a ring or do you want to reinvent yourself? It's not about the money. It's about reinventing yourself to show people that you are still an impact player, or is it, I want to be a Super Bowl champion? Because that kind of narrows the list down where you should go.
I do have another one. I think you'll like this one a lot, Gavin. Honestly, it's probably my top. I would probably put money on this one. Do you want to take a guess?
I feel like you're going to say Seattle. No?
Although Seattle would not be a bad option, but Chris Carson doing great now. I'll give you one more guess. I'll give you before we get to our next segment.
I don't got nothing for you.
Chicago. Tariq Cohen just got hurt. David Montgomery's struggling in the open field. They need another reliable pass catcher. I'm going to book it right now. I think Le'Veon Bell's going to the Bears. And if he goes to the Bears, Gavin, you're going to wear not only your LeBron James shirt, but we're going to get you a LeBron James hat. Can we make that agreement now?
Listen.
I don't want to cross sports. I don't want to cross sports.
Listen, I'll pick the hat, all right? I picked the hat, all right? My hat.
The one with the goat on it and it says 23?
Hell no. I'll pick the hat. I'll wear a Lakers hat, but I will pick the hat myself.
It's got to have 23 on it, though. It's got to be a Lakers hat.
Hell to the no. No.
It has to. If it's one of
I don't
31 teams, there are 31 possible, maybe 30 if you take out Pittsburgh too, but there's 31 possible teams that Le'Veon Bell could go to. You're telling me that you're not going to take those odds any day?
going with the Bears. Listen,
You get me? I have a Bulls hat in my house somewhere. If I find it, I'll wear that if he doesn't go there.
listen,
Those are
because
good odds for you.
knowing the Bears, he's going to go there most likely. That's why I'm not taking it.
We
And
like that. You like Chicago. I
ladies and
like
gentlemen,
that.
if you
They
know
would
me,
like that a lot.
ladies and gentlemen, if you know me outside the show and outside school or in school, you know whenever I bet on something, the worst always happens for me. So I'm not taking this, y'all. I'm not taking this.
All right, we'll have to see what happens there. But I think the Bears
I'll take the hat. I'll take the
Bears
hat
are a
out
good
there.
spot. All right, we'll see what
I'm
happens. And we'll keep the purple and gold for another week too if he goes there. How about that?
Okay, no, hell no. Hell no. That has to go.
Coming up after this, we're talking about the Titans-Bills game. How much of a shocker was it, and how good does Derrick Henry look? Poor Josh Norman is turning into Earl Thomas. We'll talk about that after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Let's talk about it, man. Bills Titans. First of all, I was not a big fan of that game happening last night.
Tuesday Night Football doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right.
Well, not just that, but from the health side, and everybody knows how we feel about the coronavirus. We know how we feel about it, and we've been very, very much in detail with it. But I think that you really have a high risk of not only more Titans players showing up positive, but Bills players as well. And frankly, going into that game, the Titans didn't get a full week of practice. And I know they want to try to rush some games again. Poor failure on Roger Goodell's behalf, but personally, I don't like the option to play last night. Not only from the health of the virus being transmittable, and again, if you're not in the bubble, you risk going home to people that could be higher at risk. And I know we have to live our lives and all that, but not only that, but also the lack of conditioning possibly during the weekend. Early in the game, there were 2 injuries on the Titans side that had some soft tissue injuries, I believe. So it's pretty prevalent. But Derrick Henry didn't miss a beat. We'll get to that in a minute. But Gavin, first on the other point.
Well, first off, Zach, you're right. I was against playing this short weeks. I don't like short weeks. I feel like you need a week to repair. And when I mean a week to repair, I'm talking, 3 days, 2 to 3 days getting your body back to being able to take another hit again. And then obviously the rest is to prepare for your team that's coming against. As regarding to the virus, I mean, like I said, Zach, they had to opt in, opt out. They knew it was coming into. You're the most contact sport in all of America. And you guys, I mean, I could tackle you, Zach, but I can't exchange a jersey with you. So that's the meta, and that's the way Roger
Goodell. Shake hands after the game too. Stephon Gilmore did.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way how Roger Goodell wants to play. So they're going to play like that. Going to Derrick Henry, oh my gosh, this guy picked up where he left off. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday. I came out and said the Titans going to look rusty. I apologize. All right, they came out and they didn't miss a beat, but we're talking about how good the Titans look. Let's talk about how average Josh Allen looked. Zach, I have a question to ask you. Was it the defense the reason why the Bills are undefeated, or was it Josh Allen? Was it like a 50-50 split or a little bit more?
He was throwing 70% completion. I don't know how many. Let me look up their schedule and see what kind of teams they played, because the Bills defense is nothing. I'm sorry, the Titans defense is nothing special. The Bills defense is pretty good, so it was a shocker. But I'm not terribly worried. Again, Josh Allen has been arguably, in my opinion, a top 3, top 4 MVP pick for me, and I think I'm going to stay there. It's okay to have a bad week. Obviously, Russell Wilson, number 1, Aaron Rodgers, number 2. So they played the Raiders, not a good defense. They played the Rams, good defense. They played the Dolphins, not a good defense. Jets, not a good defense. So I don't know. That doesn't look too good for the Bills. It does not look good for them right now. They had their first real test last night.
The first real test was really good, and they haven't played in 2 weeks. Zach, going back to Derrick Henry, he picked up where he left off. Everybody wants to talk about the yards reduction, but that's how Derrick Henry is. A slow start, and then he just picks it up over. And Josh Norman, get out the way, bro. Listen, if for those who don't know what I'm talking about, he threw Josh Norman. He's throwing human beings.
It was called back. I do have to be the one that says that, but it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter. You were thrown. A human being was thrown. A grown was thrown
with one
in
arm
the process, and he took flight. But Ryan Tannehill also looked great last night as well. Zach, 3 touchdowns in the air and 1 on the ground. Look good.
You said he looked good. You were not a big fan of him getting paid, but
I was not a big fan of him getting.
You have to admit the system the Titans have works really well. He's asked 3 or 4 times a game to make a perfect throw, and he does it. And if that's going to win you games, he's worth the money.
Ryan Tannehill is a true definition of a game manager.
It works. You know what? Like would you be fine with the Eagles having a game manager if they won games? Like, of course you
If
would.
they had the right pieces around for that guy to be a game manager, of course.
Yeah. So one thing I want to ask you then is the Titans went to the AFC Championship last year. Everyone was surprised about it. I doubt anyone expected them to. It's like with the Denver Nuggets, I guess you'd say. We like the Nuggets, but we expect them to be in the conference final next year. We expect that to be once again a battle of LA or even Golden State. And the power rankings as well that we read yesterday showed that. So the Titans are kind of in that same boat. But are they not blowing expectations right now with their 4-0 start?
I will say this, Zach. No one expected them to go to the AFC Championship. Hell, I didn't think they were going to run over Baltimore, literally run them over. Zach, you gotta put respect on this team's name, all right? And they're earning it. They are the best team in the AFC South. They were the second best team in the AFC because they went to the conference. Remember, Zach, it took Ryan Tannehill to start throwing the ball, and that's how they lost. Like their season depends on how far or how much running that man behind Ryan Tannehill can do. If he's running the ball effectively like he was last year, especially in the playoffs, they're gonna go all the way. But or as soon as the game gets out of their hand, like the Chiefs did, and Ryan Tannehill passed the ball, then that's when you start getting skeptical.
Well, do you think Ryan Tannehill's a better passer right now? Do you think he will be able to step up this year if that situation is arised?
Let's see what defense he played against. The Vikings, right? Am I missing another one? Just like you said, the Bills' defense is the only real test.
Yeah, Tre'Davious White, Josh Norman on your second best wide receiver is not a bad matchup at all, in my opinion. He's not
It's
the
not.
best player, but
I have to see a little bit
taking
more.
first guy.
I have to see a little bit more from Ryan Tannehill for me to give him respect as a passer. That's
All right. All right, without a doubt. So coming up after this, a lot of shocking in the MLB right now. We've had nothing but shockers in sports this year. I think that's an understatement as a part of what's so wild about 2020. But it's crazy. We're going to cover that after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm appalled, but there's a lot of shock right now. We talked about the Rays yesterday. We have been thrilled about how they've been looking with the pitching staff. But they were down 1-0 late, and a 2-run bomb will change anything. And the Astros are now –
they scored 5 runs, Zach.
And the Astros are down 3-0. The Dodgers are down 2-0. I got to ask you. I mean, let's start with the Astros. Again, I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit, but it's way out of reach now. I think that the Rays have this series, and they're going to go back to the World Series for the first time since 2008. Gavin, what are your thoughts so far on this ALCS?
Zach, it took me all night, and I practiced this all night. Randy Arozarena, I did it. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason I bring it up is he's been killing it in the playoffs, Zach. He has multiple, four to be exact, 4 3-hit games in the playoffs, and a couple of them going for home runs. Zach, last night Joey Wendell was the killer, if you want to call it, for the Rays. And then the pitching. Zach, who pitched yesterday for the Rays? It wasn't Snell, it wasn't Glasnow, and it wasn't Morton. It was Ryan Yarbrough. Ryan Yarbrough went 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks. That's nothing special. But here comes the Phillies killer in me. You ready? Learn how to use a bullpen, because that's what happened. The bullpen for the Rays came in and they shut the door. Not only did they shut the door, they slammed the door. Zach,
And the offense woke up.
and then the offense woke up, and what happened? 5-2. They scored 5 runs in the 6th inning, Zach. 5 runs in the 6 innings, and they didn't have anything before that. You're right, Zach. This series is over, but that just goes to show. I think the Astros are really in trouble, because if you get swept, right? If you get swept by the team that you beat last year in the playoffs, Zach, what does that go to show? That you really needed to cheat to win. And I hate saying that because I do like Alex Bregman, all right. But look, Altuve hasn't looked good. George Springer's struggling, and Carlos Correa is the monster in the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. But Zach, what have you seen from the Astros in this series alone? I'm not talking about the Twins because they can't win anything in the playoffs, and athletics fell short. But what have you seen from the Astros at all in this series alone?
This
Nothing.
series itself, nothing. I mean, they're in the ALCS. It's not like they're in any poor position. They didn't have a big fall off. But what are your thoughts on the whole Astros situation? Are they getting punished? Are the Rays doing the punishment that Rob Manfred refused to do? Former MVP Jose Altuve, if that MVP is even valid anymore, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't think the Rays are doing the punishment that should have been handed down because obviously there's a lot of other teams that wish more was done, and I'm not a team owner but I will say I'm one of those people that agree that with the teams that more should have been done. The Rays are out here, Zach, just handling business. They're on a business trip right now. Like Jimmy Butler said, I didn't want to bring any family members to the bubble because I'm here for business only. The Rays are here to play. They're actually really here to play baseball. And Zach, I think the series is over today.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll get over to the Dodgers and the Braves in just a quick second. But Tampa Bay, what a time to be a sports fan in Tampa. Lightning, Rays, Buccaneers. Sorry if I'm forgetting any other sports. I think we talked about basketball before. You can't really call Miami part of that because that's the complete opposite side. I guess Orlando's the closest for them. But, Gavin, now I can ask you. Braves, Dodgers, not a shocker without Clayton Kershaw. Braves take the victory. Is this series over?
Zach, I gotta say it. The LA Dodgers are in trouble. Again, you go out, you get Mookie Betts, arguably my favorite player, best player in baseball. You can make the case for it some days. I know Mike Trout's here, but I'm gonna say best player in NL just to be fair. They're in trouble, Zach. And it's not the guys around them's fault. It's the guy at the helm, Dave Roberts. How many times have we said, and yes, Zach, I said it. At what point do you look at Dave Roberts and say, this is your fault? This is your fault right here.
They keep getting more talent.
Exactly. How much talent do you need? You had Manny Machado the 1 year with Brian Dozier. Then a year before that, you had Yu Darvish. All right. What else do you need? And you're not winning. Give or take, yeah, they cheated. I know, but still, Zach, you had all-star talent. And this year you got Mookie Betts in a shortened season, which should be even better because
More energy.
no one should be tired. And I think Clayton Kershaw's time as being arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball is over because it's every year with him is something, and he never.
Well, if he's done, the Dodgers window to win the World Series is closed.
I think it was it closed the year when they lost with Manny Machado. That was when I think the Dodgers year closed.
And they lost to the Nationals last year in the NLCS, and this year they might fall short to the Braves.
And the Braves are on another level. Can we talk about Freddie Freeman? Ronald
MVP.
Ozzie Albies, Mark Melanson, Travis d'Arnaud. Am I missing Marcelo Zuna? This offense is doing something special to the Dodgers, and so
they've always been a great contact team, and they know the right hitters. I think the Yankees could take some information from that book. They have a lot of contact hitters on that team.
Well, also too, Zach, you got to look at their pitching. You lose Mike Soroka on his second start, and Max Fried comes in and. We
called them out. We counted them out earlier in the year. I remember we talked about it on here. We said, is Atlanta going to be able to bounce back? And we didn't think so.
I think Atlanta's proven both of us wrong, and I think Atlanta closes out in 4 games, maybe.
We'll see what happens. I just do have some quick news here. Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey are practicing this week. We don't know to what full extent, but I guess we'll have to learn more as that progresses. But as you were saying, Gavin, I think it's going to be crucial for the Dodgers, or else it could. I mean, you just signed Manny Machado, a big deal. The only way you can go is up, but you've been at the World Series this year. Last year you lost a close one in the NLCS. This year you might get blown out in the NLCS, and we could be looking at a Atlanta Braves and Tampa Bay Rays World Series.
That's what I like about the MLB because it's something new every year. Doesn't matter. Excuse me. Doesn't matter what team was good last year. Look at the Nationals, right? No, the Astros are down 3-0. They need to find some trash cans and start hitting on them. Maybe they could win. Zach, that's the best part about baseball is it's not the same every year. That's why I think us as Phillies fans, we hold hope that at some point we'll become good. I hope. But Braves and Rays, and that's going to be the World Series to remember because you got great pitching and a great offense versus great pitching and a great offense.
I mean, you can look at the NFC. I guess you can say the AFC's been the Patriots and the Chiefs, but I think that the NFC can kind of be like that with the Rams, the Falcons, the Eagles, but we're not going to go there, especially for Atlanta Falcons fans. But just
Poor
wrapping up
Falcons.
today's show here for sure. I think that if you have the Braves and the Rays, personally, I think the Rays, I think the pitching does dominate, and if it doesn't, if the offense has been the talk of the league for a couple of years now, it's very possible that the Braves can pull it off. But I think it'll be a good series if it's those two teams.
And look at Zach, and look at who the Rays, have. Like I said, you got Glasnow, you got Morton, you got Blake Snell. I know we were not a fan of Blake Snell when we first started the show, but he came into his own in the playoffs. I guess he gets torqued by the long ball here and there, but every pitcher does that. But going to the Braves, Zach, the scary thing about the Braves is they have an NL MVP, and I'm giving it to him, and Freddie Freeman, who didn't do much in the series before versus the Marlins, but came alive versus the Dodgers. And the reason, and before I hand it off to you with my question, but the Braves pitching is really frustrating the Dodgers. And by the time they finally got used to it, it was in the ninth inning. It was too late. They scored 7 runs in the ninth, but it was a little too late. But Zach, my question for you is NL MVP and AL MVP. Who do you have?
Mike Trout had a great year. It's a shame in the playoffs that they come up short. But again, Aaron Judge, unfortunately, injuries took him out. He was on a tear early in the year. I thought it was going to be Aaron Judge. I don't know if I can give you one for them, but Freddie Freeman has been all year consistent. He's been under the radar. But MVP is a regular season award. But Freddie Freeman's just been on a tear. It's hard not to respect him. I will say this: the one guarantee I can make, if the Braves do make the World Series, if they do win it, it will be Freddie Freeman, who is the World Series MVP.
I'm gonna go with Freddie Freeman because Freddie Freeman was like the guy all year long for the NL. I mean, you could make a case for some players, maybe Mookie Betts and the Dodgers. You could make a case for anybody else, but the AL is where it gets interesting, Zach, because you make a case for Mike Trout. I think that's the one thing that hurts Mike Trout is he didn't make it to the playoffs.
His team won't get the attention. He had a great year statistically, but his team won't get the attention.
He didn't get the attention. So I think it's between Jose Abreu of the White Sox. And maybe Luke Voigt, because Luke Voigt did hit 20 home runs this year. Some may say, and NL, some may say Tatis, but Tatis cooled off horribly. He cooled off really badly. So give me Freddie Freeman as a lock in the NL, and Jose Abreu or Luke Voigt, one of those two in the AL.
I was looking at that and make up my mind for that, but it was the first 10 games of the year. I thought it was Aaron Judge. I thought he ran away with it, but
Aaron Judge and Tatis ran away in the first 10 games. Mike Trout,
injuries hurt you. And it's a short season too, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mike Trout came back and then took it from Aaron Judge, and then Mike Trout cooled off, and Luke Voigt turned the heat on, and Jose Abreu and Tatis cooled off, and Freddie Freeman was born. So we don't know. I think Trevor Bauer deserves NL Cy Young. A lot of people are going to say Jigger the ground, but you can't take that away from Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer's been throwing a great year.
He's a fan favorite. Favorite.
Fan favorite. Say that 10 times fast.
Fan favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, my best friend. I'll tell you that. Coming off pretty soon.
With that way, thank you so much for joining us today on the show. We'll continue to supply updates as far as the Eagles. We'll do predictions on Friday again tomorrow. No Thursday night game this week, so we will not be having any game coverage there. Probably fortunately, considering how bad most of the Thursday night games have been. Hoping for Le'veGONE Bell to go to the Bears. That would be exciting to watch. With that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today on the show, and have a great day.
Go Braves, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live.